On this week's show, a new feature to block members and tags is currently being beta tested.
And a new pedo baby is on the way, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Pruitt.
Welcome to episode 167 of Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. I'm Amanda Siegel, and I am joined by my co-host, John Pruitt. Hey, John.
Hey now.
I love your hey now. We don't have the principal in town today.
I know. We can really let loose.
We can let loose today. I always feel like Big Brother's watching us when Chris is on there. Although he does add some valuable insight and resource if we miss, something here or there. But he is off cruising. And it's just you and me today.
He's sailing the high seas right now on a cruise liner.
I think tomorrow. I think he leaves this weekend. So
gotcha.
He will be out for the week. But you have us, folks, and there is tons to tell you this week. Tons of instructor news this week. But
lots of little tidbits, instructor tidbits. Yeah,
I feel like it's kind of switching more towards that. There's less news stories and more instructor stuff because there just is so much going on out there. But before we get started with the news, we always like to remind you how you can keep up to date with all of our content across all of our platforms. Every episode is released on our YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand side of the video and hit the notify button so that you never miss an episode.
Yes. And of course, you already know you can find us on all podcast platforms. If you're on the go, you just want to listen to us, find us, under Pelo Buddy TV and leave us a review. We do appreciate those 5-star reviews, and we love seeing that rating go up and up. So keep those coming. And we do like to read the reviews from time to time because we do like and appreciate the feedback that you give us. So keep those coming.
We do. And folks, of course, we are on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X. Just search for Pelo Buddy and follow us on those platforms for all of the latest news. And now, John, let's get on with the show.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
So this first story is hot off the press, and it is one that apparently many have been waiting for, which we will certainly discuss. But Peloton is currently beta testing some new moderation tools for high-fiving that allow members to block other users on the leaderboard and hide specific leaderboard tags. The feature that apparently has been requested by the community for quite some time aims to enhance user experience by providing more control over interactions and visibility on the platform. Some key aspects of the new features include the ability for members to block others, preventing them from appearing on the leaderboard, sending high fives, and viewing the blocker's profile. This feature mirrors the blocking functionality common on other social media platforms. Members can also choose to hide any Peloton leaderboard tags they don't want to see. Further customizing their experience, the feature includes the ability to unblock users and reveal hidden tags, offering flexibility to change preferences over time. The beta test right now is limited to just a small percentage of Peloton users at this stage, but the rollout of these features to a broader audience will be announced as it becomes available. Now, again, as we got ready to kind of go to record this, we got a little bit more information. So Peloton had actually added stuff to their Peloton report page. And just to give you some, community guidelines and moderations policy, basically what they've said is that it's their mission to create a safe, supportive, and uplifting community for all members to connect with each other and share their fitness journeys. Member satisfaction and safety is something that we take very seriously, and any violations against the community guidelines are not tolerated. And they talk about reporting or appealing a violation. So if somehow somebody feels that they've been violated by a member. But the new feature, this blocking members and hiding tags, is basically the question was asked, why are they implementing this? And it's basically saying that we're giving members, again, some more control over their experience, including social interactions and choice of what tags that they'll see. What does this actually do? When you block a member, they will be prevented from seeing or interacting with you across the Peloton platform. You will not be able to search for them or view their profile, seeing and interacting with you on the leaderboard, and sending you class invites. No more unwanted high fives. And then it kind of gives you, it gives you an idea of how to block them and what to do. Will a member be notified if you block them? No, members will not be notified. What does a member see if I block them? If you block a member who follows you, they will be removed as a follower and they won't be able to access your profile any longer. And then how do I unblock a member? So you'll simply go to the profile settings, select the privacy tab, and then select the manage button next to members under the blocked and hidden section if you choose to no longer block them. I'm going to give you guys my 2 cents. And my 2 cents in this, and John, I'd like to hear what your 2 cents is. My 2 cents in this is, I guess I'm not somebody that anybody wants to stalk or whatever, because I've never been offended by high fives. And I got to tell you, isn't that what the community is about? Isn't that what being on the bike and or on the tread or whatever, piece of hardware, or even on the app, is getting that motivation from somebody that, you high five them, they high five you back, and you kind of go back and forth. I don't know. I don't know how, I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading this wrong. Maybe I've interpreted it incorrectly up until this point. But I got to tell you, when this came out the other day, I'm down in Miami, so I don't have my hardware. I'm on the app. It's really hard to see who people are in the app. So I'll just go down and I'll just kind of high five who, if I'm getting onto a run or a walk, I'll just high five everybody. Now, apparently you shouldn't be high fiving somebody you don't know, because why would you high five them? Bullshit.
Because what? You're supposed to have, there's some sort of ethics around.
I'm sorry. Look, I know, one of the things we love about you, John, is that you are a habitual high fiver, and people love getting your high fives, and people enjoy.
But some are offended by that, Amanda. So this is obviously, this is making them happy. This is why we can't have nice things.
Right. So I got to tell you, as somebody who
really, some folks view it as stalking or cyberbullying, which I think is silly, but.
Okay, so
Peloton's obviously going to appease those people.
But let me backtrack that. On the contrary, sometimes I get irritated because I'll see a leaderboard name and I won't even know who they are, and I'll want to tag them maybe in a social media post that I'm going to do. And if somebody has pushed me in a run or a walk, and I want to, and until you kind of get underneath that, and maybe they'll see my posts through Pelo Buddy or through whatever. I don't have nearly as many followers as you do on Instagram, but I actually almost get frustrated because you can't tell who is that person on the leaderboard unless you really stalk them and try and figure out, through social media. But the only way you're really going to know is through social media. On the leaderboard, they're just a name. They're just Seglo 3, or Kenny back here.
This is just me, but every now and then I'll get excessive high fives from someone, just, like repeatedly during a ride, and whatever. I might high five them back. I might just ignore them, but that isn't gonna bring me to want to use
block
that
them.
feature to, I'm not going to be a dick and block them. It's just, that's my personal, the one thing that is annoying though, I will tell you, and I think the majority of people will agree, is when you're on an on-demand class and you get tons of just the auto notification that someone is on a streak, someone just did their 125th class. Those are kind of annoying. I wish we could just turn those off, because sometimes they're distracting, and I don't need those.
And specifically, actually, on the app, you get all of those on the app, where you don't actually see those. If you're on a live run, you won't see you don't see who's getting a milestone, but you do see that on the app. Interestingly enough, So because I'm on the app so much down here just in general. So anybody that's celebrating a milestone,
you can see other people's milestones next to their name.
If you're in the studio.
Just for the in-studio folks.
Just for the in-studio. But when you're on the app, you see everybody. So you just can see everybody that's celebrating a milestone, which you actually can't see unless you're an on-demand class, correct? On the hardware. So anyway, look, I'm probably going to get tons of shit because of this. I was talking to somebody. You guys all know I am the hustle Ben. I can never pronounce Ben's last name, but we were just chatting the other day, and Ben and I were. But he loves to high five. He loves to tag people in his stuff. He says that's what it's all about. It's all about community. But maybe I'm missing the ones that are being stalked or are getting people to. Somebody said to me a scenario that somebody pointed out to me, because I really have been bothered by this last few days. But somebody said a scenario was a girlfriend had an ex-boyfriend, and she knew that if she was on her bike and she's alone in her apartment and her ex-boyfriend could see that she was on her bike, then he would know that she's at home at that time and could, I don't know, break in or whatever. I mean, that is excessive.
That's a stretch, but
right? That is definitely a stretch. But that was just a scenario that somebody gave me. Anyway, we're reporting it. It's new. I guess there are tons of people that wanted this. And they'll get what they want.
Well, also, I think the other aspect of it, a lot of people can be offended by tags, especially political ones, because those can be very polarizing, with the political candidates. And I know a lot of people feel like Peloton is, leaning more liberal. They've suppressed some of the Trump related tags or removed them. A lot of people are offended by them. So I know a lot of people are happy about, for the tag to hide those different tags that they don't want to see.
Yeah. And I think we'd love to hear what you guys think. There certainly was a lot of chatter on Chris's post, on Instagram, which I kind of took a look at, because when this came out, I was almost like bummed. So I did go on there and had a look. And then, then I started chatting to people.
Was it kind of divided? What was the general consensus?
Interestingly enough, when I first looked at Chris's post, I think most people were happy about it. But then when I started speaking to people, people were kind of more frustrated and irritated. And again, maybe because those are my community people, so we all kind of enjoy each other, seeing each other. But I typically, when I get onto a workout, I typically always filter by who I follow. I'll never look at a whole leaderboard ever.
I go by my following and my tags.
Yeah. Not even my tags. I purely go by following for some reason.
I always go to my Peloton Swifties tags. I always got to give love to the Swifties.
And again, you can't do that on the app. And I've moaned about this for so long. There's no sort feature, which is very frustrating, because you do get, so many people. Anyway, it's definitely a hot topic. I would love to hear what folks, continue to say. Please continue to share your input and thoughts. Again, this is just our personal opinion on this whole thing. But I definitely am a little frustrated by it all. But anyway, so be it. It's
funny. We'll move on in just a second, because we've been on this story for a while. But it's funny, years ago, before the pandemic, when I was high-fiving on a Jen Sherman ride, I was high-fiving someone, and during the ride, they actually messaged me and said, "Can you stop high-fiving? I'm trying to enjoy the ride."
Interesting.
I took the high road and I ignored the message, and then
and stopped high-fiving. Obviously,
on one of the Tribe pages, when they announced they were doing their upcoming, milestone, I commented and said, hey, I'll try not to high five too much so you enjoy the ride. And then they had like a little mea culpa, but I just thought it made me think of that. And that member is no longer, they got rid of their Peloton bike and they're no longer on the Peloton platform after all these years.
Because they never got into the community. Yeah,
no,
but think about that.
They were pretty active. They were active in the community, but I think maybe they were just, they were in a mood that day, let's say. So I'll give grace. But I thought it was a funny story I would share because it's the only time someone's said stop high fiving me.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's somebody that stopped following me, and I realized because she didn't come up on my. Did she come up on my? Yeah, she came up on my followers because I follow her. But I realized that she never high fived me back, and I was like, you know what? No problem. You don't want to like me. I don't like you back. And you grow a thick skin. I've learned to grow a thick skin through all of this. It's taken me a while, but I'm getting there. I'm not I don't float everybody's boat, right? But so I suppose if somebody blocks me or doesn't want me, then I don't want them either, right? I guess I'm figuring that part out. All right, let's move on.
All right. So Peloton has announced an in-person event series that is geared towards new Peloton members. So the event is called Peloton Warm Up, and it's going to be monthly gatherings at local Peloton showrooms beginning March 6th, just around the corner, taking up U.S. showrooms. But Peloton recently shared the news this past week on Instagram saying, calling all new members, our very first ever Peloton warm-up is happening March 6th. Join us for this monthly in-store event to meet fellow members, get all your questions answered, start your Peloton journey strong. We'll unlock all that the app has to offer, navigate product features, get all your equipment questions answered so you can hit the ground running, riding, rowing, or flowing. So these warm-up events are designed to welcome new members to the community, kind of get them acclimated, get them taking advantage of basically all the features and, the community aspect of it, which is obviously, a huge part of the secret sauce of Peloton that we all love so much.
Just don't high five.
And get them, if they need to get fitted properly, like get set up on their bike, so they have their settings, properly, for their height and their seat post and their handlebars. I'm sure that's, they'll help them with that at these events. But they're starting all across retail showrooms next week, March 6th, 6 p.m. local time. There's already some events also listed for April 3rd. Dozens of showrooms right now will be hosting the events on the same day. And Peloton has a link on their Insta page. I know they had shared a link directly in their stories, but now it's probably on the link on their Insta profile. But if you click the Learn More button from that link, it takes you to an event website that'll bring you to a new page with specific information for your local showroom that might be hosting. You can RSVP, enter your name, your email address, and then you'll get an auto email reply. At first, I got all excited because I thought this was like some special event where there might be instructors and I didn't want to get shut out. So I immediately RSVP'd, and then I contacted my Michigan showroom person, and he goes, no, there's no instructors involved. It's really, just to meet other people and for new members to kind of get familiar with everything Peloton. So no instructors. It's not that type of event, but it sounds great. Fun.
I think it sounds fun. I think it's a great way. And again, I just don't think that Peloton tap into enough of the community. And I'll tell you why. So something like this, they should be reaching out, like say, for example, Michigan, have someone like you come into the store, someone who's been on the platform for it, invite OGs to come into the store and be there as part of this welcoming committee. It's free. You going in there is free. Maybe they give you a water bottle for, coming in and being a part of that, hyping up the community. But that's what they should be doing.
That's a good idea.
Don't you think? I don't know. I got some great ideas. But I think that that's something that I feel that they should be kind of going that one step further, because I think this is a fantastic, onboarding for someone that's just getting started and, trying to get into the system.
they might as well take advantage. I mean, they have all these retail showrooms that I feel like sometimes aren't really necessary at this point in terms of selling their products. And so they, when you walk into a showroom, half the time
they're
it's
empty.
dead.
And,
there's nobody, and they're just hanging out.
That's why they got rid of half of them.
So they might as well take advantage of these massive.
I agree.
And some showrooms, like the Short Hills Mall in New Jersey, they just moved to this more massive space in the mall that has, private rooms and showers and dressing areas. So they might as well take advantage of that and
absolutely
have events like this. So.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll see where it goes with, but I think it's a fantastic idea. All right. Well, flipping the switch here, there are definitely some very unhappy members who do not live in the United States of America out there. Peloton has confirmed that there are currently no plans to sell the Tread Plus outside of the U.S. This stance was reiterated in response to a user's inquiry on Instagram regarding the availability of the Tread Plus in the United Kingdom. Peloton's response was, we currently do not have plans to sell the Peloton Tread Plus outside of the US. Stay tuned for more information. So it indicates that markets in the UK, Canada, Germany, now Austria and Australia should not expect the Tread Plus to launch in their countries as of now. This position has been consistent even before the 2021 recall of the Tread Plus. But the recent confirmation is the first since the relaunch in the US. The wording, currently do not have plans, does leave the possibility, leaves it open for the possibility of future changes. Though one of the things that I think we spoke about back in 2020 or 2019 when the Tread, was launched was the size of the Tread and the weight. So, it may not be suitable in some markets. I mean, people would definitely say
it may be too big for the average footprint, like in the UK and London, where you have these
because generally
narrow
they have
flats.
smaller living spaces compared to the US.
Although Ben and Leanne can fit two regular treads in their workout. Their workout, what do you call it? Their mini house, their 3D,
their little 3D
shed, printed workout shed. Yeah.
Right. So interestingly enough, Chris Giles just popped in here and said, could be a violation issue too with the 110 voltage in the US versus the 220. I never even thought of it from that perspective. That doesn't answer the Canadians' questions though. So the Canadians I know are not happy that, and they have the same voltage as us, but it could be, it could be a reason for certainly for the European market. So those though that the US folks that have Chris, stop. Chris says we should smuggle some in.
Where are you seeing these messages? Is he privately DMing you?
No. He's popping them in there. We want to keep it interesting this week. We don't have Chris Lewis. It's fun. I like that we don't have Chris Lewis, but he would be giving us all this. Anyway, but those, some members asked that I need to get them. And I guess now I'm hearing more and more on the Tread, the instructors are talking about making sure that there's nothing behind the rear guard. They're like identifying the Tread Plus a little bit more, I'm hearing. Did you hear that?
I have heard Rebecca add that into some of her language about the rear, because I also did notice
Maddie did too
at a camera angle recently. I noticed that their instructor tread at PSNY has the rear guard.
Yes.
So they must have done that recently.
Yeah. Maddie mentioned that too. And they're also one of the things that she did in her recent hike is, now they're not really kind of defining the 12.5 anymore. They're kind of going back to saying, take your
max it out.
Your max, max elevation. So, so sorry to those folks. Who knows down the road whether you'll get one, but if it makes you feel any better, I don't have one. So there.
I look down and wave from my 15 incline.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll wave back.
Hey, I mean, even if you're not all people in the USA can get the Tread Plus. If you're in Canada, or if you're in Alaska or Hawaii,
that you're
excluded. Yeah, because logistics wise, it would be a nightmare trying to ship that thing and not
Get them
have
there.
it damaged. And then, it takes 3 people to set that thing up. Just forget about it.
Yeah.
I am pleasantly surprised. So I have not seen any nightmare horror stories about people that are finally getting their Tread Pluses delivered and having any like nightmare scenarios where they just show up and like dump the parts in their garage and then leave.
Good.
So
okay.
I'm glad to hear that it sounds like it's been going smoothly with the Tread Plus deliveries. Now, I haven't had my rear guard. I haven't had one word mentioned about it. I haven't heard anybody getting it set up yet. But so far it sounds like people haven't had any major problems getting their deliveries and their setups. So
good.
All right. Well, moving on, Peloton is going to serve as an official partner in the 2024 Berlin Half Marathon. The announcement, Peloton is the official partner of the Generali Berliner Half Marathon 2024. Stay tuned for a chance to win a spot to enter the sold out event. They recently posted. It also included on social media, it also included a reel on Instagram featuring numerous Peloton instructors who have already announced that they're running in the Berlin Half Marathon. Eric Yeager, Tobias Hines, Jeffrey McEachern, and Irene Kamer, formerly Irene Schultz. And as part of the partnership, Peloton is also holding this contest to give away a race entry to a lucky Peloton member. You can enter via a Google form that explains all the terms and conditions, most of important of which you must be a current resident of Germany and be 18 years of age or older. The form's been open now since February 27th, and is going to remain open until March 5th if you want to enter, if you meet that criteria. The only information required to enter is an email address. All other expenses associated with the marathon, such as travel costs, accessories, are not included. So you got to get there on your own dime. And the winner is going to be chosen at random and notified on March 5th via email next week. And the Berlin Half Marathon, it's taking place, it's right around the corner. It's taking place on April 7th. So, Peloton had revealed in their latest earnings call that they have plans to cater more towards performance athletes with these marathon focused content and these new partnerships, which they've already have formed this partnership with, probably the most famous marathon organizers in the world, the New York Roadrunners, NYRR, which was a multi-year partnership that was just recently announced back in October of 2023. And there's already been multiple audio-only content releases, including an NYC Marathon highlights run, a 5-borough outdoor run, five 5-borough outdoor runs. Numerous Peloton instructors ran the marathon in 2023, the New York City Marathon, and we definitely anticipate new scenic content from the 2023 NYC Marathon to be released sometime in early 2024.
Well, good luck to whoever wins. That is very exciting. All right. Well, this past Thursday was the drop of British DJ, musician, and record producer Fatboy Slim. The series includes 6 classes across 5 modalities, with 1 class in German and 2 premieres. The complete class list is as follows: a 20-minute premiere full body strength with Jermaine Johnson, a 30-minute ride with Mila Lazar in German, a 30-minute run with the boy, John Husking. There was a 30-minute ride with Ben Aldous, a 20-minute yoga conditioning with Kira Michelle, and last but certainly not least, there was a 20-minute premiere row with Katie Wong. So interestingly enough about this one, when I heard Fatboy Slim, I thought, oh, who is this? And then, of course, you hear the music. I knew every single song, but I never really knew his name with who, as far as, and I've said this so many times, this is what I love about these artist series, is that sometimes music will come to me. Now, I've always never professed to be a big music buff. I'm not, but I like the fact that you get to kind of experience these artists that you probably wouldn't have, heard of, or that you've heard of, but you didn't really know that they were. Yeah, I mean, I did John's run. He was dressed like a banana, as he said, in yellow. It was a great run. He was definitely very energized, and of course, he knew all the songs. So,
what's the banana significance?
He was wearing it was a Fatboy Slim T-shirt that was happened to have been in yellow, and his shorts were in yellow too, and he looked like a banana.
See, the only Fatboy Slim song I know off the top of my head right now is the song "Praise You." You know, it goes, I have to praise you. Is that Fatboy Slim?
Yes.
That's the only song I know.
No, there was the one here, come now, come here. It's like,
oh, right here, right. Okay,
I didn't
know that was Fatboy. See, I didn't know that was Fatboy Slim.
Neither did I, and that's what I kind of loved about. I loved about it. There were a few. I mean, there was one the Ya Mama one. I've heard it a million times, but I wouldn't have known that it was one of his songs. Weapon of Choice. I've heard it millions of times, but I didn't know that was one of his.
Yeah, I don't know that one as well as Come Here, Come Now.
Yeah. Right now. All right. Anyway, it was a fun artist series, and it dropped this past Thursday. So looking forward to taking a couple more classes on that for sure.
Well, while we're on the subject of artist series, on Thursday, we got a little peek into upcoming artist series that are coming to the platform in March from the booking site, from the classes that you can take you can book at, PSNY or at PSL. I was looking at the PSNY one, though, for indication. So right around the corner, we've got an Olivia Rodrigo artist series that's happening Thursday, March 7th. Now, keep in mind, there's going to be a lot more classes than what the ones I'm mentioning, but these ones are just the ones that I noticed on the PSNY booking site for classes that will have members in them. So keep in mind, it's not limited to just these ones. So there's a Pilates with the DT, there's a ride with Olivia, there's a run with Camilla, and a full body strength with Selena. That's for the Olivia Rodrigo artist series happening next week, March 7th. And then the following week, March 14th, we're going to get a Joan Jett artist series. So far, I can see on the PSNY site an arms and shoulders with Selena, a yoga flow with Kristen McGee, and a run with Jess King. And then on March 28th, we'll have a Cardi B artist series. And right now, I can just see a ride with Hannah Corbin at Peloton Studios, New York.
Right.
So I'll have those to look forward to. I'm excited for Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah, me too.
She's coming to Detroit in a couple weeks on a Saturday night at Little Caesars Arena. So I'm trying to
see if you can get
finagle some tickets and surprise Jackson. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we'll see.
That's
Hopefully
awesome.
we'll make it.
All right. And keeping on the artist series kind of genre here, Robin Arzon taught a new Jennifer Lopez, a J-Lo 10-minute core strength class, which dropped live on this past Tuesday, the 27th at 9:30 a.m. The class is part of a special focus on Jennifer Lopez's music. It marks the third time Peloton has featured J-Lo in special classes, with the first artist series back in 2019, which included 4 classes and then another standalone class that Robin had actually taught back in 2020. So this class is also a standalone artist series class. So not sure. Have we had any other big J-Lo artist series drops? I don't think so. I think it's just really now these 6 classes. The 4 from back then, and then these other 2.
Yeah, not that I can.
Yeah.
See, this is why we need our fact checker, Chris Lewis.
He would have been able to tell us. Yeah, he would have been able to. I have not. I mean, I haven't done that class yet. Did you do the strength class? No. People were saying raving.
Is it good?
People were saying I did. Yeah.
I was going to ask, have you seen the new J-Lo movie that's on Amazon Prime right now?
Yeah,
I'm just curious if you've caught that.
I did see it being advertised, but I have not seen it yet. Remind me what it was called again.
It's called This Is Me Now, a love story.
Yes.
Is a genre-bending Amazon original film that explores Lopez's journey to love as told through her own eyes. And I only really know about it because a recent ride, maybe it was Hitting Hills with Cody, his most recent 30-minute one. he was playing J-Lo and he said, has anybody seen that new J-Lo? And he just trashed it. He was like, why? Really? He's like, why did you spend $20 million on this movie? That could have like gone to feed.
Yeah. Did you say that? Yeah. I feel like she's gone a little bit more
so
towards,
bad.
I feel like she's gone a little bit more towards acting rather than her music. And, nothing's been exceptional. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah, a lot of people were surprised she got an Oscar nom for Hustler. Was she in Hustlers? I think it was Hustlers. Even Cody, and I remember Cody chiming in saying like, "Really, you're nominating J-Lo for that
That's
performance?"
Too funny.
But I thought it was funny. I looked it up. So
okay,
I thought I would admit that was a funny little tidbit from his recent ride.
Too funny.
All right. So this week at Peloton. Peloton, they do this sort of weekly recap now. So Peloton has highlighted various new classes on the way this week via their weekly This Week at Peloton Instagram post covering February 26th to March 3rd. First, they mentioned that they held a mini artist series dedicated to J-Lo with a live 10-minute core strength that we just talked about. I'll move on to the next one. So next, they released 4 new gym plans with instructor Asal Arian, Callie, Olivia Amato, and Rebecca Kennedy. New plans will become available February 28th, so they're already out right now as of this episode via the digital app, which is the only place they can actually be accessed. And then Peloton will also release new scenic content on February 28th. Classes will hit the bike, tread, and row at 10 a.m. Eastern, so they're already out now. Peloton hasn't shared the geographic location. Obviously, we don't know it because we're recording before then. But so it's currently unclear whether the classes will be from a new location or a previous one that we've seen. But we do anticipate that these will be time or distance-based classes, not guided by instructors. And also just be aware, scenic content is only available to members who own the Peloton hardware. So you can only access it on the bike, tread, or the row. And you can't access row content on the bike and vice versa. You can only access that content specific to that modality on that specific hardware.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where that spot was. All right. Well, Ben Boyd, Peloton's Interactive's Senior Vice President of Global Communications, is bidding the company farewell. He is leaving the company after nearly 2 years. Ben had joined Peloton in May 2022 from Lowe's and was responsible for overseeing all aspects of Peloton's public relations efforts globally. This included corporate executive, internal, financial, consumer, product and technology, and emerging business communications. In a LinkedIn post, he had expressed his gratitude towards his team, highlighting their achievements together and his excitement for his future endeavors, although he did not say where he was going and what he was doing. So we don't know, the reasoning of him leaving and whether he just got a better offer somewhere else. But it is interesting to say that his departure does come at a pretty challenging period for Peloton. They recently reported a decline in revenue and obviously we all know that we've seen the stock reach a record low. So, who really knows? Before Peloton, he had held significant roles at Lowe's and BCW. And he has a long history in the communications field, including a 14 tenure at Edelman. His career spanned various sectors, contributing to his extensive experience in communications and public relations. So, interesting. And I'm sure we'll find out more on whether there'll be a replacement, which I can only imagine there has to be. And yes, John, this week I'll be the bearer of bad news.
Signed this one to yourself.
I did.
Look at you.
I'll be the bearer of bad news, although I got pretty lucky this week.
Yeah, that's why.
With the weekly Purge, because the Purge from this past February the 23rd was literally one of its smallest class purges to date, removing classes from just one day, December the 14th of 2020. So the action resulted in approximately 20 classes being removed from the library, leaving only 9 classes from that day available. This purge targeted classes that had initially been spared during a previous purge, which had removed classes from December the 10th and December the 13th and 14th of 2020. But I will add that there are some very happy RK fans out there because Rebecca shared on her IG on Wednesday that her 45-minute outdoor rock run from November 2020 has been restored and is back in the on-demand library. So she only has 2 45-minute outdoor classes.
Audio only.
Yeah, on audio only. And I guess that one was pretty popular. So she seemed very chuffed with herself that she could report that she clearly must have been something that she requested and it got accepted and she has that back on. So if anyone's looking for that 45-minute rock run of Rebecca's from 2020, it is still there.
Nice. Well, Peloton Apparel, the Insta page, recently posted the new Cadent apparel drop. They said, reintroducing our best-selling Cadent collection, the buttery soft feel you love, now available in spring-ready colors. So it's, the top and matching, I guess, leggings that are super popular in various colors. So a lot of folks were pretty excited to see that back in stock and hopefully still available.
Yeah, I didn't take a look, but I do like that. I must say, I prefer that to some of the more buoyant stuff. All right, there were no birthdays this week. No instructors or Peloton folks were celebrating
no one we forgot
birthdays.
that we let slip through the cracks.
I don't believe so. So we may be safe. No leap year babies this year. At this time. Anyway, so we are going to go straight into instructor in the news, and we'll start off with some very exciting news. As we're about to hear about the birth of Callie Gullickson's new baby.
She's on maternity leave currently, right?
No, she was still, I think she still did a class this week, and I think she may even still be in a class this weekend.
Why do I feel like Jen Lippman posted like, I was excited to be in Callie's last class before
I think it was her personal last class, but I think Callie is still on the schedule for another week or two. I think she is. Okay. But I could be, standard to be corrected. But with Callie going off to have a baby, we have a new Pelo baby coming this summer. Emma Lovewell. And this was really hot off the press that we were able to get it into the show right before we recorded. But Emma shared on Instagram this past week on Thursday that her and her fiance, Dave, are expecting their first baby this summer. So huge congrats to them both. And I feel like we're going to get through this next wave of babies coming. There are a couple that could potentially be getting pregnant. So that's exciting, but huge congrats.
Are they going to have the wedding? Are they going to have the wedding before the baby? Because she said summer 2024. So what's I think they're going to get married before the arrival of the baby.
I almost see Emma and Dave doing a Hannah Corbin, kind of just doing something very simple or something just very simple out maybe in their backyard.
Doing a Hannah Corbin, which I just told you about before we started.
I didn't know about Hannah Corbin. I didn't know it. I didn't realize that they had eloped. But so that'll be fun to see. But huge excitement there. So that'll be really great to see Emma through her pregnancy.
Is Tunde toying with us? Because just recently she posted on Instagram a picture of her on the Peloton Tread, and she goes, "Just a cute picture, no hints, right, Tunde?" And she said, "There's just a cute picture of me standing on the tread, just saying, she's back this week teaching." So is this an indication? Obviously, she's going to be one of the newest tread instructors. I recently had someone message me that they came across her on their treadmill under the tread instructors drop down. And when I shared that with Chris Lewis, he didn't act like, all excited or anything. He goes, that could just be because to access whatever podcast content. for her that you can listen to, Fitness Unflipped or Fitness Flipped, that short-lived Peloton podcast.
Fitness Flipped.
So he wasn't sure if that was an indication that she's going to be tread instructor or just that you can access, the podcast content on there. But I mean, I would say it seems likely that,
but especially now with the timing, I don't know. I think especially with the timing of Emma, potentially going out on maternity leave for a couple months, she's a tread instructor. So it could
Emma's
be.
not a tread instructor.
Doesn't Emma do?
No. All right. Emma does bike and strength and core.
Bike and strength.
And
I'm thinking
cardio.
Rebecca. I'm an idiot, and Rebecca doesn't do bike. Oh my God, I'm totally. All right, Chris, maybe we can cut that part out.
No, that's okay. Leave that in.
But anyway, that'll be interesting. A couple people had messaged me. Steph Strongfoot had messaged me about a week or two ago and said, "Do I want to give you guys a Pelo Buddy nugget that." Tunde kind of hinted back then. So who knows? That'll be very exciting.
I'm excited. I would love to see her on the tread. So
yeah. Well, especially after watching her, complete the marathon and just being just so vulnerable and sharing. I think it's so great, that if she is there, it would be a different dynamic. Yeah. All right. Well, Camilla Rahman, she shared her journey from facing body image pressures in Miami and Argentina to becoming a beacon of body positivity and healthy training in the latest issue of The Cut. Camilla says that after growing up with competitive dance and experiencing intense scrutiny over her body, she had a pivotal moment in 2015 that shifted her perspective towards exercise. This realization led her to become a trainer in 2016 and eventually join Peloton in 2021, where she emphasizes celebrating the body and living a healthier life. Camilla's approach is inclusive, focusing on how athleticism feels rather than looks, challenging societal and cultural norms around body image. And despite facing negative comments on social media, she uses her platform to foster a supportive community, encouraging self-acceptance and a positive relationship with exercise, something that I just find absolutely incredible and love that she does that. So that was a good article.
Nice. Well, with the Academy Awards, the movie awards here in the U.S., the Oscars just 2 weeks away, Robin Arzon was recently on Good Morning America, and she, the little workout segment that she was in, she was sharing workout-inspired tips that she was inspired by some of this year's film nominees. So they did this workout in kind of like a green screen. So she did a Naiad-inspired ocean swimming workout where she was kind of like paddling. And then she did a Barbie-inspired workout with beach balls sitting on the floor with some of the other GMA hosts. So it's kind of fun and cute.
Yeah, nice. And Mariana Fernandez shared on her Instagram that she has partnered with the American Heart Association, saying that one needs to get a good night's sleep to give you energy to keep up with your exercise and creating habits to keep moving. So she put together a nice little reel on Instagram this past week.
And when Peloton posted a recent Insta reel, they had hosted the social media company, Meta, at PSNY. They posted and said, "Our home transformed into a hub of creativity and inspiration as we welcome Meta creators to Peloton Studios for an open conversation about mental health. The space was filled with a fusion of empowerment, community, and a celebration of holistic wellness. An unforgettable gathering that left our community feeling inspired, energized, and uplifted." And Ash Pryor posted about it as well, because she was one of the participants in the conversation, this little panel, along with Tunde and Chelsea Jackson Roberts. But she said, "Thank you, Meta and Peloton Studios, for creating such an awesome event for us to share space with other Black creators and wellness. I'm beyond grateful to share the stage with Tunde and Chelsea. It's exciting and inspiring to make so many new connections."
It looked like a really fun event. And I think it was probably it was the first that they utilized that space up in
since they filled in that little sort of
I
sunken
couldn't really
lounge
get to
area.
see a good. I couldn't get to see a good, view of it. But it's the first time, I guess, that it was a big gathering. So I'm curious to I know how that turned out. And then Rebecca Kennedy shared on her IG that she hosted a panel discussion at Peloton's HQ with Ebenezer Samuel, Men's Health magazine's fitness director. Rebecca was asked what her favorite part was, and she shared that the fitness trend that she shared that what Eb had said was that the fitness trend he is noticing is that women are lifting heavy weights. And she loved the fact that that was focused and something that he brought up in the discussion.
Well, Adrian Williams has a new partnership with a car company that is, to me, is quite surprising. And it's he just recently posted this week. He said, I wanted to share with you that I partnered with Hyundai USA to partnership on their EV. Their Hyundai Ioniq Q he says, is one of the most well-balanced cars I have driven. It comes with luxury, comfort, and power in one package. What I love about the Ioniq 6 is the spaciousness for a sedan and the estimated range of 361 miles that the car has. Really surprised that he partnered with I guess Hyundai's Japanese, I'm guessing, because he is a BMW enthusiast. He's a car guy. He's they call, we EV drivers, Amanda, we call gas cars ice cars, internal combustion engine cars.
Is that what we call them? Is that what we call them?
That's what the EV, fanatic calls them, ice cars. Yeah. But I was really surprised because he has an M3 BMW that he's done
obsessed
tons of modifications with, especially with the
exhaust, you go with wherever the sponsorship is. It's going to make you money.
I'm surprised BMW didn't come calling, to help for him to rep their EV brand. Yeah. I was really surprised, but I mean, the Ioniq 6 it's a cool looking car. And I think, I don't know if it's the Ioniq 5 or the Ioniq 6, but Kevin Bacon and his daughter are also brand partners for that EV, and they do a lot of cute, funny advertising for it as well. But I think everyone was very surprised. And then a lot of the comments were like, everybody in the comments acting like they're car lovers now, because it's Adrian.
Right. As well as Hyundai. I mean, people weren't running to buy that. So interesting.
But I'm very surprised he's repping an EV because the BMW M3 is anything but quiet. Yeah. And, the EVs are so silent. Yeah. Like my Mach-E, I don't know about Tesla, but my Mach-E, you can press a button that you can turn on propulsion sounds, like turn on sort of this like exhaust sound.
Quiet.
Yeah, because they're so quiet, which I kind of think is cool, and I have that on. But other than that, they're super quiet.
Very quiet. And I almost say it's almost like driving a go-kart sometimes, because there's really like no on-off. You get in your car. When in my car, you get in your car and you start it. Yeah. Right. But Hyundai has become it has become a big brand here in the States. So people are definitely, it used to be kind of frowned upon, but now, I mean, you see them all the time. So, good for him that he got that sponsorship.
I'm trying to remember Leanne and Ben. Remember when they were repping? I can't remember if it was,
I think it was BMW.
No, it wasn't BMW. It was
Audi.
No, it wasn't one of like the German. It might have been like Hyundai or.
I don't remember now.
But I remember when I was last there and I was like, oh, how are you guys enjoying your EV? And she's like, oh, that was such a nightmare trying to charge. She was like, she just goes, the United Kingdom just doesn't have like the charging infrastructure. She's like, one time we were stranded. I
mean, it can be a nightmare. It can be a nightmare. Because
I remember a long time she posted about it and then there wasn't really much about it after that. So they kind of got rid of it or turned it in.
Yeah.
They went back to their ice vehicle.
Talking about Leanne, she actually shared such a sweet message on Instagram. She reiterated how hard the training for her marathon has been. She has been so transparent and honest, saying that it has probably been one of the hardest things that she's had to do. But she acknowledged how lovely Jeffrey was, who shared his 10K medal from a race that he had done last Sunday. And she said that she had done 2 10Ks, but they weren't official races. So therefore there was no medal. And she was feeling very forlorn and like, oh my goodness, woe is me. So Jeffrey, she came back from her class and Jeffrey had left her his medal so that she could wear it. And she goes, I know I have to return it, but it was very sweet. But Leanne, again, she's been so transparent and so truthful about how hard this has been. But she said that, what she's the most proud of is why she's doing this marathon. She said that running for breast cancer now, the organization that she is running for, means so much to her because they were truly there and got her through her darkest moments when she was going through her breast cancer. She did ask if folks would consider donating, saying that there was no amount too small, but that was her big reason in doing this, is she really wanted to feel that she could now that she is in remission and on the other side, and it was important. So yeah.
Well, Hannah Frankson recently spoke at NatWest Business. It was kind of an event. She was on stage with a couple other people, but they posted a little clip of her sitting in this little panel, and the tagline said, "Failure isn't the end. It's an opportunity to become unstoppable." And in the little, it's a brief little snippet, so I couldn't really get the general gist of kind of what the conversation was about. But what she said, what she was talking about was talking about the moment of failure and realizing that you're okay and to be proud to walk away knowing that what you did achieve from that was amazing. So hopefully she'll post, we'll see more from that event, because it was the shortest little snippet that I could see.
And all right. And then Sam Yo was on episode 603 of the Bruce Lee podcast with Shannon. I have not had a listen to it yet, so I unfortunately cannot share with you what he chatted about. But
that's Bruce Lee's daughter, right?
Yes, exactly.
That hosts it. Yeah.
That hosts the podcast. So if you're interested, definitely head over to pelobuddy.com and pull that podcast to get a listen to. We'll go on to any podcast.
And while we'll stay on the topic of podcasts, Kristen McGee was recently on the One Real Good Thing podcast. It's a quick, actually, it's not your typical hour plus podcast. It was about less than 20 minutes. But her one thing is all about breathing. She explains how connecting with our breath can help us, and she offers easy ways to make it part of our lives. She said, as a busy mom of 3 boys, busy single mom of 3 boys, Kristen strongly believes that just a few minutes of yoga a day can bring a more balance and harmony. She said, connecting with your breath, she used that to learn. She learned to use her breath as a tool for emotional regulation. She talks a lot about that in this interview, in all sorts of things in life. She talked about how way back when she was a little kid, her father telling her to stop crying as a child. And she said, if they only just, worded it differently, instead of just saying stop crying, and said, take a deep breath, things like that. That makes it all the difference.
Yeah,
so the regulation part.
Yeah.
So I'm sure with her kids that keep her on her toes constantly, I'm sure she's, she's using the proper wording, take a deep breath, and helping them with their breath regulation, I'm sure.
Yeah, I love how open and again, another one that's so open and transparent as she is about raising these 3 boys on her own, and it can't be easy. And I'm sure,
and
the
living
fact that
and
she
living
practiced,
in the city,
and
living in Manhattan,
and I'm sure her practice, is so useful. I've been enjoying that so much in just getting more and more into my yoga, and I'm not good by any means, but just from a mental perspective, I think it's so fantastic. So fantastic. All right. Well, there were a lot of instructor stories there. So we are going to go right into class picks of the week, and I will kick it off. First up, we had Jermaine Johnson's 30-minute Nicki Minaj full body strength. It was from the 22nd of February. It came to us from our very trusty Amaja 3, and she said this class was structured really, really well. Then we had Jess King, her 30-minute sweat steady ride. This one was also from the 22nd. It came to us from Mads Obla. They said tough, but felt so good when I was done. And then the next one is mine. It is Kira Michelle. She had 2 back-to-back yoga classes, beginner classes, a 20-minute focus flow, which was lower body. And she did have a second one. And I see that Chris decided to just put one in there. But I will say, though, that they were absolutely so. Kira is someone that I have spoken about before because I've said that she is pretty advanced. She's very advanced in her yoga. And I've always been intimidated in doing her classes because her flows are pretty quick and fast and I can't keep up. These were beginner classes. And I actually messaged with her afterwards and I said to her, this was absolutely fantastic. And she really appreciated it because she said she doesn't get to do many of these. And she loved being able to explain what the poses were about and what they meant. So from that perspective, I think that it was really, really, for folks that are, just yoga curious, definitely go in there and take a look at them because those were really some great classes. That one specifically, the other one was a 10-minute yoga flow that she did. So she did the focus flow lower body and then the 10-minute yoga flow, and they were back-to-back classes. So definitely go.
And they're labeled beginner.
They're beginner classes. Cool. Yeah.
Well, switching over to the bike, Allie loves 30-minute black and brilliant ride from February 25th. A lot of folks submitted this one. Shannon 78mm, Christina Romano, Love Squad, Peloton, Daisy Mack. They said amazing ride and great message from Allie in this one. And then Jess Sims, 30-minute intervals run, also from the 25th. We got this from Sveldi. They said, is it Sveldi or Sveldi?
Sveldi.
Maybe I've been saying Sveldi. They said a good, tough run from Jess. Would you expect any less? And then Christine's 90-minute Power Zone endurance ride, also from the 25th. Got this from Becca 82L. She said 90 minutes of riding with Christine. What's not to love?
Fantastic. And then getting back onto the tread, Kirsten Ferguson had a 30 minutes Legends of Hip Hop run. That one was from the 26th. This one came to us from Dippin' Dot 22, and they said such a great playlist. And then Hannah Corbin, her 10-minute bar lower body, also from the 26th, came to us from Cav Dog Mom, and they said another great short and sweet burner from Hannah. And then Callie Gullickson's 30-minute full body strength from the 26th. This one came to us from Mama Kraus and Amajar 3, all about stability with an awesome playlist.
All right. Amajar 3 gave us this next one, which is Aditi's 20-minute pop punk Pilates from February 27th. She said, I live for her pop punk Pilates classes, and this one was especially great. And then Robin's 10-minute Jennifer Lopez core strength from the 27th. Just Dance Lisa submitted this. They said loved using weights and the J-Lo music. And then Rebecca's 30-minute hiking tread boot camp, which is from the 27th. and Violet Vibe submitted that one. And she said, I just love her hiking boot camps because they are a great workout without having to run. I'll agree wholeheartedly with that point. Her strength portions are always programmed brilliantly. And I have to brag on this one. I finished first. I don't know if I'm still on there, if somebody's already beat me, but in live, I finished first.
Good for you.
I was maxed the F out on that thing pretty much the whole time.
You were at 15 in those hikes?
I think fantastic. I probably started out at a 9 or an 8 on my incline because I just, I get competitive
sometimes you
with that stuff.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Especially if I see someone that I want to get ahead of, then I'm really, then it's on. So
that's me and Sarah. So Sarah is what's Sarah's leaderboard? Is second.
Do it for champagne.
Do it for champagne. Sarah and I are like, and sometimes I just don't have it in me to fight her on that hike, but we love doing that with each other. I love that. And then to round up the picks of the week for this week, Rad Lopez's 20-minute boxing boot camp. It was an upper body from the 27th. Love that somebody recommended this one, Julie MJ, and she said great playlist and energy. And then Dennis Morton's 45-minute Power Zone ride from the 27th, 5:30 p.m. This one came from Yes for Jess, and they said amazing playlist, and he gave us some true recoveries in this ride. And then rounding up our picks of the week is a 30-minute groove ride in Spanish from Camila Ramon. It was from the 28th of February. This one came to us from Celestine, Stephen Kale M, and Karen Zemskiberi. And they said, Camilla doing groove rides is so much fun.
I did that one live.
Did you?
A lot of fun.
Did you?
I actually, that's kind of like my weekly thing. I always do Camilla's Wednesday morning in Spanish rides that she does every Wednesday morning. They're just kind of fun.
Yeah, no, Wednesday mornings is reserved for Maddie's Walk and Talk, 9 o'clock. Yeah. Tuesdays and Wednesdays is John and Maddie. That's kind of my routine. Everybody knows. You're going to find me on the tread.
Those are your regulars.
Those are my regulars. Yep. All right, folks, we gave you lots of instructor news, lots of stuff going on out there. Again, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to listen and spend the hour and a bit with us. We always love to bring this to you, so we appreciate you taking the time to listen. So from me here in sunny Miami, I will bid you all farewell. Bye for now, everybody.
For me here in Michigan, where it is cold, once again, it's 37 degrees. Not too bad. Thank you, as always, for tuning in, watching, and listening. And we will see you on the leaderboard. Bye for now.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelo Buddy TV leaderboard tag, and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pelo Buddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.